ValveTime.net.
Hi, and welcome to the ValveTime news for August 2nd, 2016, where we'll recap all the latest talking points regarding Valve and the community. As we mentioned during our last episode a few weeks ago, the recent Counter-Strike Global Offensive gambling scandal, which hit YouTube this past month, recently came to a head on July 13th as Valve finally came out to face the controversy head-on. In a blog post and press release, Valve's Eric Johnson addressed the recent controversy and long-standing issues with CSGO betting websites, stating that Valve does not and has never supported these kinds of sites, with their integration with Steam coming via the freely available OpenID API used by websites of all kinds. This shady use of the OpenID API was actually never permitted by the Steam EULA or the SSA, allowing Valve to quickly and easily fight back against these kinds of sites. As revealed in a leaked cease and desist letter, Valve's lawyers have recently been in contact with over 20 different sites, ordering them to stop all betting-related operations within 10 days, lest they unleash the true power of Valve's legal teams. That 10-day period has now elapsed, and a few sites, particularly those related to Dota 2, are still standing, likely trying to take advantage of the huge bets set to arise during the International 2016 this week. With Valve now able to start taking legal action against any threatened betting sites, it'll be interesting to see what happens next. It's also worth pointing out that streaming site Twitch TV has also come out in support of Valve, threatening to ban any user who continues to broadcast the once popular betting content. Speaking of the International 2016, this year's premier Dota 2 tournament will begin very soon on Tuesday, August 2nd, with the wildcard event deciding which two of the four runner-up teams will be able to secure last-minute spots in the group stages, which themselves start on Wednesday the 3rd. After 3 days of group stages, TI6 heads to Key Arena in Seattle for the main event ahead of a week's worth of competition for the largest prize pool in esports history, with this year's tournament quickly approaching $19.5 million. Following the All-Star match on August 10th and several more days of competition, the best teams in the world will battle it out on the grand final on Saturday the 13th, all of which you can read more about with the new International 2016 Hub released this past weekend. As usual, the Hub features scheduling information, a media page containing recent Twitter and Instagram posts, a recap of all of the teams and their players, and links to new TI-specific merchandise. A game update released alongside the Hub added a few final pieces of the puzzle for this year's event, including unlocking predictions for the wildcard event, the group stages, and the main event, while also adding an overhauled player card minigame where players can collect and trade cards while also using them for fantasy teams built up of various cores and supports. Other Dota-specific content released ahead of TI6 this week includes release of the Immortal 3 treasure several days earlier, with the pack containing new Immortal items for Slark, Earth Spirit, Bane, Ogre Magi, Razor, Medusa, and Lina. Honestly, we're tired of Immortal items for this year at this point, but we're sure plenty of high-level Battle Pass owners will be happy to see these finally released. The last bit of new content released for Dota 2 in recent weeks was the welcome addition of VR mode promised several months back during the launch of the HTC Vive headset. As promised during the initial reveal, players with VR headsets can now spectate live or pre-recorded games of Dota 2 in a specially crafted area featuring in-game maps, statistics, character models, and more. The blink mechanic featured in the lab also makes an appearance, allowing players to move around and get up in close and personal with any element of the Dota spectating area or the characters featured in it. What's more, players can even jump straight into the action of an in-game map alongside the creeps and heroes battling it out below. A size modifier option on the controller's touchpad allows the players to decide which angles and heights they'd like to spectate from. Players can also be joined by up to 15 friends who can all move around with the space at their own free will in order to enjoy the game as they wish. It's definitely a gimmick aimed at improving the usability of VR headsets for the few individuals who currently own them, but we'd be lying if we said we won't be trying it out for ourselves before and during the event. Given how the Dota 2 VR hub, destinations, and even the lab are based around relatively similar code ported between Source 2 and Unity, it's no surprise that Destinations also received multiplayer support in an update released this past week. While in a Destination session, players can invite, join, and chat with friends in any of the game's installed areas or mods. Players can also customize their avatars and mess around with the physics props, something we hope is also highly moddable, just like the maps themselves. Valve's light press release makes reference to the fact that they have only included a small set of simple avatar heads and a couple avatar hands to choose from in this version, making it sound like they'll include more fun extras as time goes on. Of course, Destinations requires an HTC Vive or an Oculus Rift to play, so don't get too excited if you don't own either VR headset or intend to buy one. Since we've had a busy 4 weeks and weren't quite ever able to finish getting an episode out, we've missed out on a lot of news. Rather than spending several minutes or more going in depth for every single talking point from a month ago, we're going to introduce a new segment called the ValveTime News Time Catch-Up Time, where I'm going to talk a little faster than normal in order to chop through a lot of news in not a lot of time. Let's go. The long-awaited competitive matchmaking mode for TF2 finally arrived in Meet Your Match, a new update which overhauled casual play and released the pastime game mode from beta. The patch also introduced 4 new taunts, 3 community maps, and a new war update between the Heavy and the Pyro to determine which class will get their hands on the first of a new series of class-themed updates. The game has since been updated with numerous updates to balance the mode and to fix early complaints about the new casual mode format, which locks players into a full 12v12 game. The community recently dropped a new unofficial update pack entitled Frontline. It focuses on introducing war-themed assets, maps, cosmetic items, and weapons into TF2. It's not yet official, but they're hoping that with more support, Valve will pay attention and make it into a full update. New updates for Dota 2 introduce the highly anticipated prestige item for Legion Commander called the Legacy of the Fallen Legion. It features flashy particle effects and was released alongside a new Tip of the Spear comic delving into Dresden's origins and backstory. The end date for the International 2016 Battle Pass was also extended until the end of August 2016. The International 2016 is also set to play host to a large Dota-themed cosplay competition, which will see some of the world's best Dota cosplayers complete through several rounds for part of a $15,000 prize pool. Valve's team will act as judges, and the winner and runner-ups will be announced after performance finals on August 11th. Ahead of TI6, Valve recently closed down their official merchandise store in order to replace it with a more complete and modern storefront owned by WeLoveFine. The new store features most of the same items previously sold in the Valve store, only with many new additions, an improved layout, and a bunch of neat dynamic web transitions to show items off. The new merchandise catalog for TI6 has also been added, featuring t-shirts, accessories, toys, figurines, plushies, and more. In CSGO news, recent updates brought about at the end of the Operation Wildfire campaign while updating a lot of the game's sound effects for the Bison, MAC-10, UMP-45, P90, MP7, MP9, and the C4. A controversial low ammo sound effect was also lowered in volume and updated to an alternate audio effect. And we just rounded up a month or so in Valve news in under just 3 minutes. Please let us know if you enjoyed that section in the comments below, since we could easily replicate it in the future should we ever have big delays like this again, which of course we will try to avoid. We've seen a few people complaining about the timing and infrequency of our roundups, and while you're definitely right to not enjoy how sparse or spaced out some of our episodes have become, this one in particular, please be aware that our website front page is, and always has been, the main go-to location for up-to-date news, reporting, and articles, as we usually post important headlines there within a few hours of them being announced. And that'll just about do it for the past few weeks of Valve news. To help you keep up with all things ValveTime, don't forget to follow our social media pages, to check out our previous content, and to join in with the conversations over on the ValveTime.net community forums. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.